Welcome to the Healing Stylist, where we're going to be focusing on mental health for salon professionals. And today we're going to be discussing the mental wellness behind the chair, covering burnouts, boundaries, and how to protect your peace while working in the salon. Let's dive into the practical tips to help you stay grounded and thrive. Let's talk about burnouts. I don't think people really understand or recognize the signs and symptoms of having a burnout, and they come in all shapes and sizes, and they last for days on end. Burnouts are very confusing. You're always tired, you're emotional, you're not understanding what you're feeling, and you're just wondering why you feel this way. State of mental, physical, and emotional exhaustion is all a burnout. It could be from work, stress, and its physical symptoms, emotional, mood swings, behavioral, and you just feel lost at times. It can cause insomnia, exhaustion, fatigue, depression, and anxiety, causes headaches, mental disorders can occur. You start isolating, you lose loss of enjoyment in whatever you're doing. Me, I definitely will lose the joy of working behind the chair. You feel useless, lack of motivation, you have detachment, emotional numbness, the list goes on. And this all plays back into having healthy boundaries with personal and professional boundaries to reduce stress. And that's with your clients. And sometimes you need to set those boundaries with your friends because they're not understanding what you go through. Like, hey girl, let's go out after dinner, after the salon. And you're just like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Like, how can I be socially, like, how can I be social, but I've been social all day and I want to be social, but I just can't. Like, your battery is drained. And I guarantee you those were because you did not set boundaries, you did not take your breaks, you probably didn't even bring lunch or order lunch, and you're just so focused on everybody else that you forget to take care of yourself. And sometimes during those days, we get emotional draining clients. And it is so hard to deal with those emotional draining clients because they mean well, but I have one in particular who kind of lies. I won't tell you how I know I lie because my clients might be listening. And her daughter and I have had conversations, and I should probably honestly listen to my own advice and fire her, but I don't know how. So I'm human and I'm working through it. And she is one that just makes or breaks my day because it's so emotionally draining. I forget all my techniques. I forget to stay grounded. I forget to protect my mental well-being. Everything just goes out the door. So what I've started doing is when I see this guest coming in or on my books, I make little love notes for myself and remind myself that it's okay, and I project that it's going to be a good service, or this is the service I'm going to have to tell her I have to let her go, but then it turns out to be great. And as long as we can maintain that professionalism and I'm not stressed out during these services, it should be fine. But we all have that one client that we just don't know what to do. And that's going to be a whole topic for itself, another day to talk about. So during that kind of appointment where I'm dealing with a emotionally draining client, you want to do some self-care in between appointments. And After she leaves, I do have a moment where I'm like, okay, let me recharge. Let me get myself together. And some of those things I've spoke about where I take a quick walk, I drink water, I go eat, I go breathe. I might go to the bathroom, turn the light off, and have a moment in the dark because I just have to isolate. And isolating myself from noise, because I easily get overstimulated, which is super crazy. I even wear loops in my ears where there's special earplugs that just brings the noise level down, because when I get triggered, it's not a good day for me. I'm very emotional, and I it's just unfair to myself and to those around me. We also have to deal with a lot of pressure of perfection in the beauty industry. So, like, the standards are so unrealistic, and we're not perfect. We have the pressure from clients that bring us photos that are filtered 5 different ways, and then we're told you got to look a certain way, talk a certain way. These people are crazy. Who said we had to look a certain way? Our clients come to us because of our individual personality, and they respect you because you respect yourself. And they come to the salon and they want to have a good time, but they also want to come to relax. And that goes to your culture. Like, a supportive salon culture really helps build a mentally healthy environment for yourself and your coworkers. So all that bantering, yelling across the salon floor, and just, it's too much. It's too much, because then one feeds into it, then another feeds into it, and then all of a sudden it's just loud and rowdy, and it's just ugly looking. Like, someone standing on the outside looking all these women bumping their gums just loudly is just so, it's an ick for me now. And I have really took a step back and tried to create an image for myself and those around me. Don't involve me anymore. I just want to come to work, do my best, give my clients what they're wanting, and make them feel like a princess without all that rah rah. Like, let's chit chat, like, politely, keep it calm, keep it smooth. Our clients don't want to see us bickering, even if it's playful. And that playful bickering can turn into someone actually not feeling okay with what was said. So then it causes a lot of unnecessary back and forth. Well, I'm just joking, and you're not joking. Like, you said that kind of funny, girl. I don't believe it. But I've been in situations like that where they've put me in situations where it's like, I literally couldn't, I either had to say something or I had to bite my tongue. And biting my tongue in that moment is really hard for me to do, but also it's really awkward when you keep putting me in a situation that I'm uncomfortable in. And I'm just remembering too many situations where I'm just like, why? Why are we doing this? I really don't want to be a part of this, but it's so far in, so deep in, that is like, what do I do? So one day I woke up and I just said, I'm separating myself, and I'm protecting my peace. You, in their perspective of what they think is wrong, they can either come and talk to you, or they're going to just avoid it. And however they feel is, not your problem. Let them feel however they want to feel, but by all means, protect your peace. So the next thing that's kind of hard for us when we're trying to protect our peace, especially for me, is dealing with clients with trauma. And, just understanding the emotional load of hearing clients' personal stories and how to process these conversations can be really, really hard. And I mean so hard that it just weighs on you very heavily. I have clients that I've been doing for over 15 years, and they come to the salon to feel good. And I've had a client who was going through a situation where she texted me, said she wanted to see me, and she had some bad news. Well, she came in, and I was like, "What's wrong?" And she just looked shook up, and "I'll tell you later, but how are you?" And, we got the service started, and finally we get to the shampoo bowl, and she tells me that she may have cancer again. And I immediately told her to start speaking life into herself. Words are powerful. That when she was going to go to the doctors that week, that it was going to be a cyst, that it was nothing for her to worry about. And I just really spoke positivity over her, because I would want someone to do that for me. And her next words were, "As soon as I found out, I immediately booked an appointment with you because you make me feel better. You're so positive. Your aura is good. Your energy is good." And I get that quite often. And I believe I'm one of those people that attract broken energies, and they just want to feel something. And that's one of my gifts. I truly believe it. But separating those emotions and feelings from what they're telling me can be hard. I'm very sympathetic and empathic, and I feel what you feel. And the last 2 years, I really had to take a step back, and these feelings are not my feelings. I'm not sad. I'm sad for you. And I just, like I said, protect your peace. Now, there's some techniques that I used to really help me with that. And the biggest one was, I'm going to say it again, I go to therapy. I can't preach enough how important talk therapy is and what it can do for your mental. And dealing and just having time management for your mental health. So like just going to a therapy session once a month, you're setting aside time for you. That's self-care. And you will eventually learn to avoid overscheduling. You will ensure your break times and meal times and what I call mental resets. And that goes into the importance of saying no. Like, it's hard for me to say no. I used to be one of those, "Oh, just come in. I'll get you in. I'll squeeze you in." But when I squeeze them in, I am so stressed. Like, I might not show it, but I can't do that all the time. I used to do it all the time, and I get situations happen, and you got to do what you got to do. But that should not be happening all the time. If your client has a hair emergency and it's not your fault or something happened, you're not open. You just really need to learn to say no. And the challenges that come with that are really, really hard. But over time, it does get easier. And if the client gets upset with you, then that's not the client for you. And when one walks, two more come walking in. Because just it's hard to decompress after a long day. Like, have you ever just left the salon and sat in your car for 5 minutes, sometimes even 30, and then you get home and you still sit in your car for another 30 minutes? Like the decompressing is not decompressing. Like, you don't even know what you're thinking. You're just sitting in your car, blank, no music, maybe scrolling on your phone, but it's like mindless scrolling. That's not healthy. I'll be the first to tell you, because it does lead to cry sessions, and no one wants to be in the car crying, right? But after a long day, you should implement gratitude to help reduce stress. Adding these practices can shift your mindset and improve your overall health. And I call them the 4 A's of gratitude: appreciation, approval, admiration, and attention. By incorporating these 4 elements, you're going to boost your own self-esteem, and then you'll be able to express gratitude for yourself and others. And something like just saying, I feel good today. I am grateful I woke up. Even on a bad day, words are powerful. Like, when you sit there and say, oh, I look ugly, you're going to feel ugly. But if you tell yourself or write a list of things that you're thankful for, you're going to look at yourself a little differently. And I had a few pauses while saying that because I am the biggest person. Well, not the biggest person. I'm in my head. I am the first person to say negative things to myself and actually believe it. For example, I think people don't like me. If people didn't like me, I wouldn't have the same reoccurring clients that I've had for the past 16 years. If people didn't like me, I wouldn't have people waiting 3 months to get into my chair. And I've achieved so much, and it's a lot of due to childhood trauma, I believe, but I just don't think people like me. Like, I feel like it's a front. And I had an experience where I went to the Hero Retreat, and I got to get on stage and manifest me being, a keynote speaker and speaking what I'm speaking on this podcast to other hairstylists live. And after I had my little moment of fame, I'll call it my little 15 minutes of fame, the entire weekend just was for me. All the guest speakers were like hitting things that I needed to hear. And my biggest takeaway was, again, I spoke about being able to go on stage, and I had people I've never met in my entire life walk up to me and say, oh my God, you're doing what I want to do. I am manifesting your goals. You're so brave to step outside the box. I love you. I want to follow you. I hope to see you next year. You're going to do great things. Someone even offered me a salon to teach my first class at. And these people don't know me. And that night when I was reflecting on my day, my weekend, it hit me. People do like me. Why do I say people don't like me? So you are not alone in not speaking kindly to yourself, because I am working on practicing what I preach, and that is the power of words. And if you don't believe in manifestation, I hope you believe in the power of words. And just try it. You can be anywhere. In the car, at the store, just waking up, and just simply say, I'm going to do great today. And even if something doesn't go your way, you're still doing great. So repeat after me. I am great. I am strong. I am smart. I am beautiful. And nobody can stop me from doing what I want to do. So if you need to rewind that section again, rewind it, say it again, write it down, put a sticky note on your car rearview mirror, and so you can see that those words have meaning and power. Now, the next form of stress that we deal with behind the chair is seasonal stress. And the challenges of holiday season rush and the busy periods, and maintaining your mental health during those times can get lost. Again, I'm the first to say I will lose myself, and I may even cry in the middle of a color correction. I mean, you won't see it, but I will stop and step away because I'm just overwhelmed, It's busy, it's loud. People are doing their shopping. It's a time to be selfish because, you got things to do. You're not focused on what's around you. You don't have self-awareness. And you have those people that just come into the salon. And I'm in a salon that has a retail side to it too. So they don't care what I'm doing. They're rude. And it's probably the end of their day and they got to pick up a last minute gift. But they yell, they're rude, they talk crazy to me. And, I'm not matching energy anymore. That is probably one of the biggest tips that I've ever learned in the year of 2024. And it was, don't match energy, make them match you. And that, to me, that was, I'm going to rise above. And if you don't rise above, then it's above me. And if you don't know what it's above me means, it means it's in God's hands, because I washed my hands. And however you feel, it's on you, because I'm done. I'm over it. But I don't want to talk too much about how people around you can be so nasty, because we have to bring back the focus to you and your mental health. So some tips that I like to do is mindful breathing. It takes a few moments in between clients and I just practice deep breathing. I'm to the point where I just do it and I don't realize I'm doing it. And that's really where you want to be. And healthy snacking. You want nutritional snacks on hand that gives you energy and prevent mood swings because you're hungry. And I am very aware of my posture, my body mechanics to avoid physical strain. Because, the minute you feel some type of pain, everything just goes out the window. Whether it's your knee, your back, your shoulder, you're grumpy. Just keep some ibuprofen in the bag. I'm telling you, you just have to prepare for your day. And I'm 16 years in. I'm not no spring chicken to the hair game, right? It's a little different for us. And although when I tell people I've done hair for 16 years, they're like, you're so young. And I'm like, yeah, I started at 18. And you really feel it. Like, getting up there in the hair game, it's a hard one. Also, try to delegate when possible. If you work with like a team, if you're able to delegate smaller tasks that'll help you from being overwhelmed, that's okay. Just simply say, hey, do you mind folding the towels? My wrist is done. I know it's my turn, but I truly can't. I got you tomorrow. Like, I guarantee your team will be so appreciative that you at least asked and told them what you're going through. And you want to just communicate. Communication is such a big thing. And if that's not working, just take a walk. I know I mentioned that many, many times. Just taking a walk and just breaking away until you can gather your thoughts and come up with a regimen that works with you. Because if you don't grab a hold of what you're feeling and navigate your day a little bit better, particularly your mental being, it's just all gonna fall apart and you're just gonna be like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do hair anymore. And this is all kind of pointless. Like, why am I here? But we know why you're here. Because the people need you. The people need you. You need to make them beautiful. They love you because of who you are and how you make them feel. And another one that I think is so great for your mental health as a hairstylist is go to hair shows. You will be inspired. Again, I went to Hero Retreat and I've always wanted to be a platform artist, but over time I realized I didn't really want to teach technique. Like, I have a passion to, but I knew my calling was to speak to women, and my podcast was born. There are no tools to help navigate hairstylists with their mental health. We have all the tools in the world, but we don't have tools to help us behind the chair mentally. So that concludes my show today. I hope I wasn't too all over the place, because I'll be the first to say again, this week I was having a lot of self-doubt, and self-doubt can do numbers. And I'm just gonna say it can increase your stress and anxiety 20 times more. It can lead to perfectionism, where you might feel the need to overcompensate for your doubts by striving for unrealistic perfection. It can hold you back, and it was really holding me back from wanting to put this podcast show out today. It almost got to the point where I was like, I quit. I'm not going to do this podcast. I even have an intro that I wanted to put on here, and I didn't. So maybe my next show I won't be so afraid, and I'll just pop that intro on there. And then it also fosters negative self-talk. And I already told you, words are powerful. But if you saw me on my socials, I had to speak those negative words out, and it transpired into me reminding myself that I needed to speak positive. And a lot of you reached out to me, and it made me feel so much better. Along with, I did a workout, and I was able to push through. My husband even was like, don't be lazy. Don't be in your head. You need to get that episode done, or you're going to be upset with yourself. And I'm just really grateful for all of you who took the time to listen, grow my first episode. I got a lot of feedback from that short introduction, and I also got a lot of feedback on I was doing something. I was here to share my story, and I hope you enjoyed this episode, because to me, I kind of feel like I may have been all over the place, because I just spoke about self-doubt, but it's okay. We're going to push through this together, and I can't wait for you guys to hear episode 3. I hope you enjoyed.